like an anniversary or something?
It was Best of
For
E3
E3.
and then Days of Summer.
Yeah.
They had two concurrent sale things on sale. Good. So you know what the weirdest part of Super Size Me is now? The
Super Size Me.
Yeah, the McDonald's documentary where the guy eats.
Oh, that
McDonald's.
Spurlock dude?
Yeah,
Okay.
Morgan Spurlock.
Is he doing it again or something?
No.
Oh.
I was just watching it on Amazon the other day.
And he pusses out because his doctor tells him he has to.
Because it's literally killing him.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. He took it pretty far to begin with.
But the weirdest part is the Jared Fogle segment when he gives a speech to a bunch of kids at a school.
Oh my gosh. What year was that? That must have been like...
It would have been like 2003.
Okay.
Because I remember watching it freshman year of college.
Yeah.
And what we would do is we would go to McDonald's and buy a supersized meal. And whoever couldn't finish while watching the movie was the loser. But really, we all lost. So.
I was going to say, that's sounds like a no-win situation.
So, anyways... Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds, official podcast of stuff that sounds nerdy. I'm your host, John Grinzel. With me, as always, my two beautiful co-hosts, Kyle and Jordan.
I'm a little weirded out by you using the adjective beautiful for us.
It is 2018. We are pro-homo.
You're a married man with 4 kids.
I can find other men beautiful. Ryan Gosling.
Oh, gorgeous.
Gorgeous man. Brad Pitt. I'm actually...
Ryan Reynolds. Canadian. It's something about Canadians.
Canadians are very beautiful. Did you know that my mother's Canadian?
Oh, really?
So explains a lot for why I...
So that's where you get your good looks? Scratch that.
Maybe. Who knows? We didn't really have any direction this week because I keep things from you guys.
So this past weekend was Father's Day, John. I saw you had quite the day. You saw a movie. What'd you think of Incredibles 2?
Yeah, I did. I did go to a movie. I went to Incredibles 2, as Jordan pointed out. Anyone else see Incredibles 2?
I have not seen it yet.
I saw it has a seizure warning.
It does have a seizure warning, which, okay, that makes sense. There's a bad guy. The main villain in it is called the Screen Slaver, and he uses flashing lights to hypnotize people on screens.
Gotcha.
It's fine.
Was it too long to wait for something mediocre? Did you like the first one?
Yeah, love the first one.
I really like the first one.
It's probably one of my favorite Pixar movies. It was before Pixar started their duds. You know, Cars was kind of like the start of the death of Pixar.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's really weird because they had this weird apology video at the start of the movie with like actors in like a recording booth, quote unquote. And they're like, hey, thanks for coming back to The Incredibles. We know it's been a long time, but you know, sometimes it's worth the wait. These movies take a lot of work to be, you know, bring out, and you have to spend a lot of time on the story and doing all this sort of thing. It's like in the back of my mind, I'm like, we've had 3 Toy Story movies and 3 fucking car movies. And we had to wait 14 years for Incredibles 2. You don't need to like apologize to me because they're not apologizing to the kid audience that the movie's supposed to be directed at. They're apologizing to the adults, you know, that enjoyed the first one. Because it's been 14 years. Kids weren't even alive.
They're adults. Like if you watched it as like a young or the middle-aged kid, like 8, 9, you're basically, middle-aged kid. I don't know what to call those things.
I'm just a fucking middle-aged kid, Mom. God,
I got this mid-teenage crisis going
on. When will Incredibles 2 come out?
So are these real live people in a recording booth apologizing, or are these cartoon characters?
No, I would assume they were the real.
But it wasn't the main actors?
It was the actors from the, That wasn't very clear. It was the actors from the film, and yeah, it was just a little bit strange because it was like, it's cool. You don't have to apologize. You looking at the curtain there?
I was burping, if you really want to know. I was just getting away from the microphone.
That was a very mousy burp.
Well, I'm trying to keep it quiet.
I didn't even hear it.
Want to make it loud? I can make it loud.
So yeah, before we get in depth with spoilers and stuff, they always have a Disney short film at the start of Disney movies with the Pixar movies. They're usually very cute, and I've liked pretty much all of them. This one was called Bao, B-A-O. It's about a Chinese lady who cooks a dumpling, and then the dumpling comes alive, and like the dumpling starts acting like a kid. Like she feeds it and like gets bigger, and then the dumpling wants to go do stuff, but it's a dumpling. So like it sees kids running, and when it tries to chase them, then it gets smashed out. So she has to bring it back to the kitchen and like fill it up with more meat and like reform it. It's very strange. And then the dumpling gets a girlfriend and like wants to leave home. And so the mom eats it. She eats it at the end? Yeah, she eats it. And I'm like,
why are you spoiling? What if I want to go see Incredibles 2?
It's the short film. It has nothing to do with Incredibles 2.
You just spoiled their short film for me.
So I'm like, who is this for? What the heck? Oh, man. And then it was very, very strange.
I suppose that's like the start of getting a child into like the just sometimes ridiculous depression of life where you're just like, oh, well, I guess that happened.
Yeah, it was odd.
So going back to something you said there before we move on, why do you think Cars was the beginning of the downfall of Pixar?
Did you see Cars?
I like Cars.
Cars is not good.
But I've seen it rated as like one of the lowest Pixar movies. Yeah. So like, I want to hear your feelings on why. Like, I've never understood why. I enjoy it.
Anthropomorphic cars in a very by the book predictable story where Hotshot has a fall from grace, has to relearn, like the beauty of driving and not be obsessed with winning. And then in the end, he wins. And then you get to add in Larry the Cable Guy. And
yeah, everybody loves Mater.
No. I'm looking at Kyle.
I've never seen it. Is he the tow truck?
He's the tow truck.
All right. Well, I've seen commercials and it seemed, I don't know.
Unbearable?
Not something I would want to watch.
It definitely has its fans. Like you like Cars. Yeah. Did you like Cars 2?
Not as much.
It's a spy movie now with anthropomorphic cars, which... Yeah, if you start to dissect the Cars universe, how the fuck does any of this stuff work? Like, how do they have car babies? Where do they eat? How do they eat? Why is Willie Nelson? Why is he high all the time?
It's not Willie Nelson. It's Cheech or Chong, one of the two.
I think it's Chong.
Well, yeah, it's one of the two.
Chong would be more likely, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's only in the first movie, and then the second movie, it's somebody else.
Oh, okay.
That is funny. Is he high? Like he get high in the movie?
He's a hippie van.
He's like, hey man, come check out the stuff.
Are there people in it?
No.
So there's no human beings?
No human beings.
Okay.
It's just cars.
That's really
You've really never seen Cars.
No.
You are not missing anything.
I was going to say, I haven't seen a lot of like animated movies.
No, Cars. Okay. So Cars is not terrible. It's not, garbage. But from there, you can see all of these decisions that Pixar started to make, and their movies started to gross less and less, and people really stopped. Like Pixar was number one, release after release after release, and Cars was just kind of the start of where people were like, okay, this is what are you guys doing? The movies just aren't as good anymore. So,
which is so weird, like. Because I'm not a fan of A Bug's Life, and that was one of their early ones.
Mm-hmm. Second movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved Bug's Life.
Yeah, and so I don't know.
So when was that? When was Cars 1? The first Cars?
That would have been
2005.
So right about the time streaming started coming into play. Because if you can entertain your kid with something off the internet.
2006.
I was close.
If you can entertain your kids with something off the internet and you don't need to take them to a movie and spend, God.
Okay, so it's
got to be expensive to take you and your kids to a movie now.
Here's what I mean by the up and down of Pixar. So you started with Toy Story, which is classic.
Awesome.
You get Bug's Life, which
I'm not a fan of.
You're not a fan of, but America was, and worldwide it was very huge. You follow that up with Toy Story 2, which some people argue is better than the first, but
I would probably argue that.
Okay. It's still Toy Story 1, then 3, then 2 for me. Then you have Monsters, Inc., which is
good.
Super classic.
Yep.
Teaches kids not to be scared of monsters in their closet. Then you have Finding Nemo, which I hate. It's Bambi.
What?
It's Bambi in the water. But again, people love it. It's amazing. Then you have The Incredibles, which is the best Fantastic Four movie anybody was ever able to make.
Oh, yeah.
But The Thing married Mr. Fantastic, which I bet there's fan fiction online. Oh, sorry. Okay. And then the next movie that they come out with is Cars. After Cars, Ratatouille.
Terrible. I haven't even seen it.
It's great.
The whole thing.
But it's not well received. It's about a rat who cooks.
That one was actually on one of the channels one time. So I watched it.
Okay. So not critically acclaimed compared to their previous movies. Then you have WALL-E, which did better. And I think it's a very cute movie.
Yeah, I like WALL-E.
And then Up, very good movie.
Very well good. Received.
Toy Story 3, which is very good.
Very good.
And then Cars 2, which is another stinker. And then after Cars 2, Brave, which was another stinker.
I never even saw that.
And then Monsters University, which was another stinker.
Which was very, depressing. Is that the word? Because, with how good Monsters, Inc. was, I was very disappointed in Monsters University.
Were you? Yeah, it wasn't great.
No.
Then you had Inside Out, which was very well received.
Yeah, it's okay.
Good Dinosaur, which was a stinker.
Never saw it.
Finding Dory, which parents hated, kids liked. Cars 3, which is another stinker. Coco, which was beautiful. And then Incredibles 2. So after that, good track record. And really it started with Cars 2, their first.
I'd more argue Cars 2 is where it started.
Yeah.
Because you still had a couple good ones after the first Cars. Cars 2 is...
But without Cars, they couldn't have made a Cars 2.
Well,
to me, it's
you're not wrong.
Cars ones were the ones that were just less well received. Other than that, it seemed like they still had a lot of good stuff going.
Yeah, so I don't know. Incredibles 2 is fine. It's fine. It is not really a kid movie. There are a lot of long dialogue sequences with people just talking. There are really cool action sequences, but they're too far spaced out.
Yeah.
I think it's 118 minutes. So it's right about the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
And there's only maybe 4 big action set pieces. But there was stuff, I found myself laughing because as someone who raises kids during the day, that's the role Mr. Incredible gets forced into. And there's funny stuff with Jack. There's great stuff with Dash and Violet. And it was all very funny and stuff. But there was just way too much dialogue between scenes. And it's all about superhero image and if they should bring superheroes back. And it's very all of the boring stuff from Captain America Civil War.
That's kind of what I was thinking. The way you were describing it it sounded a lot like that.
So yeah, I don't know. It was fine. Hopefully
a solid meh.
Yeah, hopefully they make a third one soon.
Is there anything on the docket coming up? I know there's a Toy Story 4.
Toy Story 4.
Which I want to know where they're going to go with that, because they're going
to be at the new kid's house.
Yeah, she'll be the main character.
Yeah. Because she is about the right age that Andy was.
In the first one.
And then her mom, I think, works at that daycare, so they could go back to that daycare as well.
I suppose, yeah.
So yeah, you could do a lot of stuff with that universe. Unfortunately, I had a brain fart.
That is unfortunate.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is free for PS Plus members through July 7th-ish something. So
Really?
if you have PS Plus, you can download Call of Duty Black Ops 3.
And you won't lose it? Or will
as
you
long as you
lose it
keep
at
Plus.
July 7th?
No. It's just available to download until
Oh, so
July 7th.
Xbox has got like this games with gold thing. So that sounds like it's about right there.
Yep, that's PS Plus has their own version.
Yeah. It's not just the the paid membership. It's like you pay extra, you get 150 free games that you can play whenever.
Sure.
But it's all free, but what is like another $15 a month or something?
Oh, okay. The way PS Plus works, I think it's like $12 or $15, depending on what type of plan you go on. And then every month they release 2 to 4 games that you can add to your library. As long as you maintain a membership, you can play those games.
Okay.
So like this month it's XCOM 2, Trials Fusion, and now they added Black Ops 3. Those are like the big titles. And then there's always like a couple indies that you can download as well. So yeah, I think on my PS Plus, like it shows you how many games you have downloaded. And my PS Plus, I think there's like 60 games that I've added to my library. They're not all installed in my system.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what I was like, man, you can hold 60 games on your hard drive. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can hold like 15 maybe.
It's about, well, it depends on the size of the game, but I got about
I got a couple big games like Witcher 3's on there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I added Call of Duty Black Ops 3. I decided that is Halo.
Is it?
Like the Black Ops games, really starting with Black Ops 2, that's the continuation of where Halo left off for me.
Okay.
Because I didn't play the later Halos after 2 because I didn't have a 360 or a 1.
PlayStation's better.
It is, but we won't add fuel to the console war fire.
Yeah, I don't know. They had backwards compatibility. That was really the only reason I went with a 1 over a PS4.
Yeah, my PS3 had backwards compatibility.
With PS2? Yeah.
And 1. I had one of the limited edition Metal Gear Solid ones when Metal Gear Solid 4 came out.
Yeah.
And it was the first one with a 60 gig hard drive.
Nice.
And then, you could play PS2 and PS1 games. And that was dope, yo. Wow.
Isn't that funny? 60 gig hard drive. You're like, yeah, that was pretty big back in the day. Now you got like 2 terabyte ones that.
Yeah, I think you get a 500. The base is 500 for PS4.
Oh yeah, and a terabyte for the big one.
Shit.
Ain't that some shit, man?
I did realize something, Kyle.
What is that?
Final Fantasy as a whole is shit. It sucks.
There's some gems in there.
There are. Do you want to know how many?
2?
5.
Okay.
Do you know how many games they have? 19.
It's not a good batting average.
No. So yeah, we talked about this last week before we hung up, after we hung up, and then we're like, oh shit, we should talk about this sometime. And it's about Final Fantasy and how it sucks and I hate it. I'm still playing 7. I kind of play that every year or two, not all the way through usually, because by the end game, it's just so much grinding.
I was going to say, you just put so much time into it.
Yeah.
It's fun to like breeze through it.
Yeah.
Like just hit the story marks and stuff.
It was fun. I had like given myself a challenge once to speed run Midgar, the first city that you're in.
To get out of there.
And I think I had it at like 47 minutes to get from the start of the game out to the open world map.
Is that the whole first disc?
No.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Like, it's been a while since I played it.
Yeah, so first disc entails...
do you get to the golden nugget?
So golden saucer.
Golden saucer.
So you do Junin, you do Costa del Sol, you do golden saucer, you do Nibelheim, you do Rocket Town, you do everything up to Temple of the Ancients.
Oh, wow.
And then you get to the North Continent too.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
because that's the forest, the sleeping forest or whatever.
Is that where you find Yiffy?
No. You get Yuffie at some point. We're tangenting now.
Yeah. I'm going to say you've lost me completely.
So Final Fantasy VII is Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
It's basically the Star Wars movies. It's the Star Wars movies all over again. You have your trilogy, and mine is actually, it's 5, but 5 games. And then you have the prequels, which came out after, and then you have the sequels that came out way after. So like my favorites are 1, 5, 7, 8, and 12. I know 6/3 is like classic.
That's my personal favorite.
But like, I didn't play it until after I'd played 7, 8, 9, and I think 10. And so something held me back.
Really? How far did you get in it?
I got to when the world, you go to the alternate world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have 15. I have not yet to play it. It's installed. I just never booted it up.
It's not good. It's fine.
Well, see, the thing is, none of them have anything to do with any of the other ones, right?
Right.
Minus like the X2. 10-2.
Yep. And then 13, 13-2, 13-3.
There was several of them for 13?
There was 3 13s.
Which one was the first time that they changed the combat system? Was that 12?
Every game.
No, like it stopped being turn-based.
Technically 11, but 11 was a MMO.
Okay, so it must have been 12.
Yep.
12
so 12
where they implemented
where they kind of did the same system from 11.
And then I never played the online one.
Yeah.
It was PS2 at the time, I think.
Yep.
So
PS2 only.
I didn't have
PC.
any internet at the time for that.
Yeah. So yeah, 12 is a cool battle system, but it was kind of the start of where I was realizing these aren't as memorable as they used to be. Like 7, 6, early on, where you had this core group of characters that you like really built strong relationships for.
Oh yeah.
I think it was when they added voice acting that took me out of the characters, because you can't project yourself onto a character that laughs like fucking Una does and Titus from Final Fantasy X. Jordan, we're going to take a short break and we'll let you in on the joke here.
I felt dead inside when I did it.
So we just showed Jordan the laughing scene from Final Fantasy X where that scene. Everybody knows what I'm talking about if they've seen that scene. Jordan,
or if they're like me, they will have to find it on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you played that game, you couldn't wait for that scene to end.
And I think, okay, so that's where the problem with Final Fantasy, I think, started for me, was you could no longer project your own sense of self on the characters that you were playing because it was all voice acted.
Yeah.
Before, when everything was text-based, you could make up your own voices for these characters, and it was like a choose your own adventure book. Now with voice acting, you're far more limited in Final Fantasy about where the story's going to go. It feels like. So
I can totally see that point of view, but if done well, I think it creates a richer character.
Yes.
Like there are some characters, like even in Final Fantasy X, I think like Auron, like he was one of my favorites.
Auron was really cool.
Yeah, he's just like kind of like real, almost like a Gandalf type character.
And I think another problem is I wanted everybody to be Cloud, because back when I was young and I was playing these, angsty teenager was like the character I gravitated.
Right?
I can't say words.
Words are hard. In 10, how the voice acting kind of restricted. You couldn't go very far with the story anymore, or very many directions. That's how a lot of games are nowadays, is they're voice acted with like scenes in between, like The Witcher and Last of Us.
Yeah, Last of Us is very linear. There's really not many changes you can make during that game. Witcher is more open world and open-ended. Okay. And the voice acting there is so well done that it feels like a unique experience no matter who's playing it. If you're watching someone else play it, they could pick completely different answers than you, and the story can go in a completely different direction. Final Fantasy X, if I remember it correctly, was very linear, and it was the start of linear Final Fantasies.
Yep, extremely linear.
Where there was really no overworld even.
Not until well late into the game. And then even then it was just revisiting the set pieces. It wasn't like exploration or anything.
Yeah. So that was always a big part of Final Fantasy. You were dropped into the middle of this huge world and you could go around and explore. 8 and 9 started to like lock you out of all of the cities. 9 did it worse than 8. But in 8...
I don't think I ever played 9.
Oh,
I did play 8. I liked 8 though.
Yeah. So in the end game, you couldn't enter any towns.
Yeah.
Which was just annoying. So it was like it forced you to go and fight the final boss or whatever. And in like 7, there was a whole casino filled with mini games that you could do. So you could, waste 20, 30 hours playing like motorcycle games, submarine game. There was a boxing kind of rock, paper, scissors type game.
I think you got to redo the motorcycle level too.
Yeah, the motorcycle game was the first one.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
And the snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Yeah.
It was like, if you didn't have cool borders and you had Final Fantasy VII, you were good. You don't need cool borders. Cool borders was great. We should talk about old retro games sometime.
Definitely could.
By my question, I meant, do you enjoy games these days that are kind of linear?
You know what?
Grand Theft Auto 5, I felt was very, I guess Grand Theft Autos, you kind of have an open world where you can go do other missions, but the missions are very linear when you're actually doing them.
Yeah, it's more so in 5 than 4, because there was a couple of parts in 4 where you could like choose to kill somebody or let them go. Yep. I don't think it had really any effect on anything. It was just more
ultimately no. Yeah. And I think there was even times where you let people go and they still died.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like,
so you could at least have a clean conscience that you didn't kill them.
Hey, exactly. It's fucking Grand Theft Auto.
Yes, exactly.
You're picking up hookers, letting them fellatio you, and then you kill them. Man, I need to go clear my conscience. I'm not going to kill this gangster. Man, I feel better about myself. So that's really all we have for today. I'm on Twitter now, so that means...
Tweet some shit at him. Tell them what to talk about.
Yeah, you can do that. Topics. We have Twitter. You can find us at WSLN Podcast. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Sound Like Nerds. Thanks for 1,200 downloads, nerds. Yeah, so anyways, Twitter's very interesting.
Just the look on your face says, I'm disgusted
pained.
by this.
It's a pained expression. All right. See you guys later. Do you guys remember like music, like punk music from the 2000s ish?
Like Avril Lavigne?
No, like guy punk, not girl punk.
Like 182? I don't remember what year.
Hinder?
What? What are you listening to? What? No, not Hinder.
You didn't listen to Hinder?
No, like Fall Out Boy and Early November and...
Green Day?
No, that's not...
Fall Out Boy was way back in 2000?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
They've been around for a while.
Damn.
Now we sound like this when they're singing about girls. Yeah, girls.
All American Rejects?
Yep, that's a band.
Hey, I got one.
Yeah.
Why are we guessing these bands?
Anyways, they should bring that singing type back.
Instead of
what we have now.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because Kyle, you would listen to like, dude, what's going on this weekend? Gonna go to a party. Yeah. Nope. Right? Is that not? Jordan's laughing. That's definitely what music used to sound like back then.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I listen to classical music, so eat it.
Well, classical like Beethoven?
Exactly. Yeah. NPR, man.
That's is that the only classical composer you can think of? Like Beethoven?
That was the first one I thought
Any
of.
Chopin?
Yeah. Just heard some raindrops.
Mozart?
Yeah.
Who's Eddie Chopin?
Any Chopin.
Was it any Chopin?
Frederick Chopin was a
Chopin.
Portuguese? Polish, yeah.